Okay, welcome. In this lab, we're looking at how to use GCAT and how to create a CnC server using Gmail. It's pretty straightforward, but all of this is used for educational purposes only. Yeah. All right, so first thing I did was I'm going to go to Google and I'm going to type in GCAT. And I'm looking for, GCAT space GitHub. I'm looking for this one right here. And you can download it or you can get the URL. I'm going to get the URL and go to my Kali machine, git clone, I always do that, git clone, let it go ahead and unpack everything, and you should be able to go to your directories and you should have a GCAT. So the important ones here is we need to look at GCAT and implant PY. PY is because these are going to be Python scripts, but those are what you're going to need. All right, next, let's go ahead and open both GCAT. And what we're looking for is this right here. Under the Gmail account, we want to change it to our Gmail account. It's not case sensitive, but for the username, it is case sensitive for the password. Server and server port should stay the same. So I want to point something out. What I ended up doing for this was I did create a brand new Gmail account. And just for this particular lab. So I would, if you're doing this, I would probably do the same thing. Make a separate email account just for this. Go ahead and save it. Let's go to implant. Same thing. Go to the Gmail settings. Change the appropriate password to your password. Save it, and so that part of the configuration is taken care of. Okay, so before we move forward, we have to talk about a few more things. So first, in Gmail, we need to turn on less secure apps. So what I did was I just Googled, how do I allow less secure apps? And we want to turn this on. We need this so that our GCAT can actually email us the appropriate files that we need. So once that's turned on, you're good. So in Kali, we can do this several different ways. We can use things like val evasion. We can convert the PY to a EXE. So lots of different ways. So that's the next part of this video. So what happens when you have a Python script, a .py file, and you want to convert it to an EXE? So we're going to have to get a few. So what we need is we need to install PYinstaller. So apt-get install Pyinstaller. This will allow us to get the Pyinstaller set up so that we can take a PY and convert it. It only takes a few minutes to get it set up, so just let it do its thing, and that's it. Once we've done that, Pyinstaller is set up. So after you install the Pyinstaller, I'm going to go ahead and navigate to my GCAT file. So let's try. I hope I spell it correctly. And you will see that I have my PY file there because I actually want to convert both my, I want to convert my implant.py to a EXE. So Pyinstaller. Pyinstaller helps if I spell it again correctly. I want the syntax. So, Pyinstaller, I want to do implant.py. I want to do -I. And I have always just implant.exe, and it will generate a distro and build. After a second or two, it should be finished. Notice it generated folders. And there is my implant file. If you look at its properties, it will show an executable or an application file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that over somehow to my victim. But you'll also notice that when I copy it over, it doesn't keep the extension. So I'm going to go ahead and rename it and add the extension .exe. And there is my EXE. So we took a PY script and converted it to a executable, and then I actually copied it to my Windows machine. So just in case you were kind of weary about that step, I made a copy of my implant.py, and I'm going to copy that over to my Windows machine. Okay, so I have my implant.py, I have my executable. When you run your executable, it actually will check in. Here is the check-in on my Gmail. So just to make sure, I'm going to double click on it again, and it should send another check-in to Gmail. All right, so what I can also do is I'm going to hop back over to my Kali machine. I am in my GCAT. I don't need the distribution or the build files anymore. I want to run this GCAT PY file. So Python gcat.py. Here are all of the additional options you can do. What I specifically want to know is I want to try to do a screenshot, and I want to list it. So -list. That should be the name and the connection string to my Windows victim, and it is. So I want to do a screenshot. All right, so in order to do a screenshot, I need to be able to specify a client ID and a job ID. So what I need to do is when I do my screenshot, I need to do -ID, and I need to go ahead and paste this, because this is the ID for that machine. And in Gmail, here we go. Though it actually did not pop up with the screenshot as I was expecting, but it did send the command screenshot to it. Alright, so a few more things that I want to do is, I don't want to do screenshot, I want to have it run a command. So -cmd, I want to look at system info. And again, in the CnC server, it can show that the command was sent. So here's the job ID. So when we do this, we're going to go back, job ID. Here's the job ID that we're going to be looking at. So that is the basics of using Gmail as a CNC server with GCAT and converting the PY scripts to an EXE. Thank you.